Hello everyone. Today we will going to learn pharmacovigilance. Pharmacovigilance. I will share here my screen. Pharmacovigilance. Actually, pharmacovigilance. For what purpose we have to study the pharmacovigilance? What we will get here after studying the pharmacovigilance? What is the purpose of the pharmacovigilance? What are the aims and objectives of the pharmacovigilance? What are the need of the pharmacovigilance to study? So pharmacovigilance is also known as drug safety. For what purpose we have to see? We have to study for the drug safety. Now, pharmacovigilance. See here, pharmakon in Greek we called as a drug, and vigilia in Latin to keep watch. To keep watch means pharmacovigilance means what? To keep watch on drug. To keep watch on drug. For what purpose? For what purpose we have to keep watch on the drug? For its ADRS, for its adverse drug reaction. Actually, an important part of this is the important part of the clinical research. This clinical research starts from its drug discovery to post-marketing surveillance. To post-marketing surveillance is the pharmacovigilance. We have to study this one. The clinical research, though when the drug come into the market, the behind that one, we have to study its ADRS in the clinical trials from its drug discovery. After that one, post-marketing ADR also we have to study here. So that's why an important part of the clinical research starting from its drug discovery to post-marketing surveillance is the pharmacovigilance, means to keep watch on the drug. WHO defines the pharmacovigilance as the science and activities relating to the detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of the ADRS, adverse effects, or any other medicine related to the relating problems. Pharmacovigilance, WHO defines, how it defines? The science and activities relating to the detection of the ADRS, assessment of the ADRS, understanding of that ADR, and prevention of that ADR of that drug or any other medicine related to that. It is called as pharmacovigilance. It is called as a pharmacovigilance. And again, the European defines pharmacovigilance as the process and science of monitoring the safety of the medicines and taking action to reduce the risk and increase the benefits of the medicine. Means on the total all, what we will going to see in this, we have to minimize the ADRS and we have to increase the benefits, increase the safety of the medicine towards the patient. So European, they defines the pharmacovigilance as the process and science of monitoring the safety of the medicines or drug and taking the action to minimize or to reduce the risk and increase the benefits of the medicines. And increase the benefits of the medicine. Now listen here. What do you mean by drug? For what purpose we are using the drug? What is the use of the modern medicines or the use of the any medicines or related substances? We will see first the definition of the drug. Drug means what? Drug is a substance, chemical substance or herbal substance. Drug is any substance which is used for the diagnosis, cure, and prevention of the disease. Isn't it? So, use of the medicine here for managing and controlling the disease. For managing and controlling the disease. Though it is having its benefits, but we have to also see their ADRS also, their adverse effects also. Actually, these ADRS are often preventable. We can prevent these ADRS. Okay, we can prevent. But sometimes these ADRS causes illness, sometimes produces the disability and even death. That is the serious ADR. That is the serious ADRS. So we have to study the pharmacovigilance. That is very needful. That is our prime duty to minimize such a type of ADRS. Now see here, polypharmacy. Are you knowing about the polypharmacy? Polypharmacy means what? The doctors prescribe more than two drugs. More than two drugs, 2 or 3 drugs, that is the polypharmacy. This polypharmacy is one of the major cause of the ADR. So to prescribe or tailor the drug for a particular individual is the skill of that doctor or medical practitioner. How we have to prescribe, how the doctor should prescribe, that is the skill of that doctor. By seeing the patient and what is the need for that drug, that disease, the doctor should tailor the drug according to that disease. The doctor should prescribe that type of the drug only by seeing the history of the patient, by seeing the age, gender, everything about that individual, pregnancy, lactation, all the things related to that patient, allergy, everything. The doctor should know actually the history of that patient. Then and then only the doctor can prescribe a good medicine for that individual regarding that type of the disease. So polypharmacy, it is the major risk of the ADRS. Why? More than 3 drugs, 2 drugs, it causes what? Drug-drug interaction, drug-food interaction, isn't it? So that's why polypharmacy, it creates the drug-drug interaction. So that is the one of the risks to cause the ADR. So it is the skill of that medical practitioner to prescribe the drug for that individual. So understood this one, pharmacovigilance. Now we will see the next one. That is the aims and objectives of the pharmacovigilance. What are the aims and objective of the pharmacovigilance? What is the main aim? That is to improve the patient's care and safety in relation to the use of the medicine. To improve patient's care, individual's care and safety in relation to the use of the medicine. To improve the public health and safety. To improve the public health and safety. To contribute to the assessment of benefit, harm, effectiveness, and risk of medicines. To contribute to the assessment of the benefit about that medicine. Harm, we have to study also the related to that drug. effectiveness, and what are the risks of the medicines. Everything we will study here in the pharmacovigilance to promote the safe, rational, and more effective use of the medicine. It should be safe. It should be rational. Rational means what? Particularly that drug is used for that particular drug, particular disease only. That is the rational. Particular drug for particular disease only. That is the rational drug. Rational use of the drug. Or unnecessary, what happens here? The doctors will prescribe more than 2-3 drugs. That is the polypharmacy. That is the irrational sometimes, isn't it? I will give you the best example, that is the antacids. For what purpose we are using antacid? For what purpose we are using the antacid? To minimize the acidity. If the drug is causing any type of the acidity, GI irritation, then we will give the antacid. But what happened here? The patients, the antacids are used for what? For acidity, to minimize the acidity. The antacids are very low cost, isn't it? And the main drug and the antibiotics are having the major cost. Cost is more. If the patient is suffering from an infection or infectious disease, what the doctor will prescribe? The doctor will prescribe antibiotic along with the antacid, because the antibiotics produces what? Sometimes it produces the gastric irritation. To minimize that gastric irritation, the doctor prescribes antacids. That is okay. Along with that, sometimes they prescribe multivitamins, isn't it? In that, they will prescribe all the calcium, B complex, some other drugs, isn't it? But the patient will think the antibiotic cost is what? That is costly. The patient don't know about that one, which is the main drug for the infectious disease. So what they will think? The antacids, multivitamins are the cheaper drug. They will take that drug. And what's the use of that drug? No use in the infectious disease. So our prime duty as a pharmacist, our prime duty to educate the patient, So to promote the safe, rational, and more effective use of the medicine, we have to study the pharmacovigilance. To promote the safe, rational drug, we have to give the rational drug. We should educate the people, the antibiotic. Example, this is an example, okay? Rational drug we should give to that individual, give to that patient, okay? Next one, to identify previously unrecognized ADR of the drug. Previously unrecognized ADR means what? The drug comes into the market, but when it comes into the market, it will not specific to the Mumbai, not specific to the Pune, not specific to the India. It will explore to all over the world. Now the best example nowadays, that is the vaccination. Corona vaccination, though it is manufactured in India, though it is manufactured in the other countries, but the use, where it will use? All over the country, all over the world, isn't it? So when it will go into the corners of the country, corners of the world, we can understand the ADR according to the ratio, according to the individual to individual, it will vary. When it will take to the pregnant lady, when it will take to the younger one, elder one, isn't it? So we can understand the ADR of that drugs. So the previously unrecognized ADRs we will study here to promote the understanding, education, and clinical training in pharmacovigilance and its effective communication to the public. Means what? We have to promote the understanding of that ADR, understanding of that drug. We have to educate the individuals, patients. We have to give the clinical training in pharmacovigilance. And it is effective communication to the public. To identify the patient-related risk factors of the ADR, such as relating to the dose, age, gender. Just now I explained that is the dose. If it will dose varies, the ADR will increase or decrease according to the dose. According to that individual, we have to tailor the dose of that drug, isn't it? That is the prime duty, isn't it? So according to the age, according to the gender, the ADRs are different. That we have to identify. So to identify the patient relating risk factors of ADRs such as age, gender, and dose. Any response to a drug which is unintended occurs at a particular dose. Any response of the drug which is unintended. Unintended means what? Unintended. It is not we can tolerable, isn't it? So first of all, we should know the therapeutic index of that drug. Therapeutic index of that drug. If the drug is very potent, but the margin of safety is less, then not useful, isn't it? It's not useful. So any response of the drug which is unintended occurs at a particular dose, to diagnose or to treatment of the disease or for the modification of the physiological function. To diagnose or to treatment of the disease, okay, or for the modification of the physiological function. To monitor the ADRs, to support the CDSCO, that is the Central Drug Standard Control Organization. CDSCO means what? Central Drug Standard Control Organization. We have to support that. Create the awareness among the healthcare professionals about the ADRs. That is our duty. Create the awareness about that ADRs. Monitor the benefit risk profile of the medicines. We have to monitor. We have to keep the profile of that medicine regarding to the benefits and regarding to the risk factor of that medicine. We have to maintain that data. This is the main aims and objective of the pharmacovigilance. Means here we are keeping watch on the drug, keeping continuous watch on the drug before marketing and after marketing. That is the post-marketing surveillance is also important. Okay. So to improve, we will revise here. To improve the patient care and safety, to improve the public health and safety in relation to the use of the medicine and pharmaceutical products, to contribute to assessment of the benefits, harm, effectiveness, and risk of medicines, to promote the safe, rational, and more effective use of the medicine, to identify previously unrecognized ADR of the drug, to promote the understanding, education, and clinical training in pharmacovigilance and effective communication to the public to identify the patient-related risk factor of ADR according to their dose, age, and gender. If the dose increases, the ADR will increase sometimes, isn't it? So here we have to keep in our brain, in our mind, that is the safety of marginal safety, okay, therapeutic index. Any response to a drug which is unintended occurs at a particular dose that we have to maintain, to diagnose or to treatment of the disease or for the modification of the physiological function. We are using here the drug to monitor the ADRS, to support the CDSCO, create the awareness, monitor or to keep the profile of the benefit risk of the medicines. So pharmacovigilance helps in removal of the approved and licensed products from the market because of its clinical toxicity, which is caused by adverse drug reactions in the body. It is having a right to remove the approved and licensed products from the market because of its ADRS, So pharmacovigilance helps in removal of licensed products from the market because of its clinical toxicity, which is caused by the adverse drug reactions. This is all about the introduction. Then we will see the next, that is the need of the pharmacovigilance. We will stop here only.